Here we go. Jai Radha Maharaj. Jai Radha.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Radharani
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Giri Hari
Yashodanandana Brajana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Brajana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Brajana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Brajana Ranjana
Jamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira
Jamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Hari
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada
Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada
Nitai Gora Hari Bol Nitai Gora Hari Bol
Nitai Gora Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gora Hari
Nitai Gora Premanandi
Hari Bol. Can start with Mangala Charan and actually
Bhagavatam
my notes are in the phone which is live streaming.
Canto 2
Forgot.
बहुत ऊपर है क्या?
Notes, everything comes from the heart. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 We can
Narayanam Namaskritya
Naram Chaiva
Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudiraya Nasta Prayashu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistaki.
Okay.
We are reading from Canto 2, Chapter 1, Text 12 to 14.
Jai. And the context, you want to give the context? Okay. So, yeah, first of all, welcome everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for coming here today and encouraging us so much to serve Srila Prabhupada, to serve Srimad Bhagavatam. And yeah, we have been studying Srimad Bhagavatam for the last few years, and finally we are on, we finished first canto last month and we are on second canto. So we have heard so far that how Parikhit Maharaj was put in the situation by Krishna's will, and not under any illusion, but it was Krishna's desire for him to. Oh, the audio is not coming.
Coming, but mic will be better.
Oh.
That's all.
Or maybe somebody can ask Chanakya Pandit Prabhu.
Who will be louder?
Okay. Will it come on YouTube?
Yeah, we have this.
Hopefully, yeah.
Otherwise,
it's,
they'll say.
Yeah, anybody on YouTube, if you're not able to hear, please
Comment
and let Prem Sindhu Prabhu know. He is administrating today's class and today's live stream. So, yes, Parikshit Maharaj was put in this situation by Krishna's will, so that Srimad Bhagavatam can be spoken. The whole episode of Parikshit Maharaj getting cursed by the Brahmana boy was only so that Srimad Bhagavatam can be spoken. Parikshit Maharaj is such a pure devotee. He doesn't need to hear any Srimad Bhagavatam. He doesn't need to do anything. He is pure devotee. But that is also the sign of pure devotion. Somebody who is performing pure devotional service, that even though they are so pure, they just want to keep connecting with Krishna. They know that it's living in material world is very dangerous. It's not easy, and our consciousness can get corrupted any minute, any moment. So Parikshit Maharaj also knows, despite being a pure devotee, so he still accepted the fact that this is happening by Krishna's will, so that he can enjoy, relish Srimad Bhagavatam by the purest devotee of Krishna, Sukadeva Goswami.
When he came to know that he has only 7 days.
Yes, he came to know he has only 7 days, so that's not enough, right? Yesterday, Prem Sindhu was reminding me of what Srila Prabhupada had said, that Parikshit Maharaj was fortunate he had 7 days. We don't even have that. We should think we don't have that much of time.
Yes.
And what, 1 second or one day?
So we should be more serious than Parikshit.
So we should be more serious than Parikshit Maharaj.
Jai.
But why all this headache? Why to take so much headache of becoming serious, right? So that our consciousness can be purified. It's so contaminated and it's so covered that Krishna is there in front of us, but we cannot see Krishna. We still question, where is Krishna? I want to see Krishna. He's standing in front of us. He is there in the form of Mahamantra, but still our consciousness is so covered that we cannot see. So there is a very famous video of Srila Prabhupada, a short clip, or it's a class, but there is a viral video where a devotee is asking that we have been here for so many lifetimes. So many lifetimes we have been around in this material world, and we have committed so many sinful activities. Is one lifetime enough to counteract all the sinful reactions? Prabhupada says, with big eyes, and very serious voice, 1 minute. 1 minute is all it takes to get rid of all the sins, to purify Krishna, the consciousness, and fill our consciousness with Krishna. And he quotes the verse, Sarvadharman parityaja mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayasami ma suchaha. Ma suchaha, he guarantees, he assures that if you just Krishna, then it can be pure. Our sins are eradicated and our consciousness can be purified. So, having said that, that is going to be the theme, that how do we purify our consciousness, with a very wonderful example from Srimad Bhagavatam. So we'll recite this verse from 2nd Canto, chapter 1st, and text 12, 2.1.12. So it's on the screen, so please recite after me. Kim pramatasya bahubihi.
Kim brahmatasya bahubihi.
Paroksher hayaner iha.
Paroksher ahayaner iha.
Varam muhurtam viditam.
Varam muhurtam viditam.
Ghatate shreyase yataha.
Ghatate shreyase yataha.
Word by word translation, we'll read together.
Kim, what is pramatasya of the bewildered, bahubihi by many, parokshe inexperienced, hayanai years, iha in this world, varam better, muhurtam a moment,
viditam, consciousness, ghatate,
one can try for.
shreyase, in the matter of the supreme interest, yataha, by that. Translation by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
By the way, this reminds me of one thing. We say Srila Prabhupada ki jai, but what exactly does it mean? Are we really glorifying Srila Prabhupada by saying just Jai, Jai Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Prabhupada? Where is the real glorification? And then I was hearing this one class by Swambhavan Keshav Maharaj. So he was saying that the real glorification of Srila Prabhupada is by reading his books and by following his instructions. Otherwise, we can keep saying Jai, 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 but we don't follow anything what he's saying, and all that is just lip service. So, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Nityam Bhagavatam Sevaya. What is the value of a prolonged life which is wasted, inexperienced by years in this world? Better a moment of full consciousness, because that gives one a start in searching for his supreme interest. Purport. Srila Sukdev Goswami instructed Maharaj Parikhit about the importance of the chanting of the holy name of the Lord by every progressive gentleman. In order to encourage the king, and who had only 7 remaining days of life, Srila Sukdev Goswami asserted that there is no use in living hundreds of years without any knowledge of the problems of life. Better to live for a moment with full consciousness of the supreme interest to be fulfilled. The supreme interest of life is eternal, with full knowledge and bliss. Those who are bewildered by the external features of the material world and are engaged in the animal propensities of the eat, drink, and be merry type of life are simply wasting their lives by the unseen passing away of valuable years. We should know in perfect consciousness that human life is bestowed upon the conditioned soul to achieve spiritual success, and the easiest possible procedure to attain this end is to chant the holy name of the Lord. In the previous verse, we have discussed this point to a certain extent, and we may further be enlightened on the different types of offenses committed unto the feet of the holy name. Would anyone else like to read? Would you like to read?
Sure.
Srila Jiva.
Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhu.
Yeah, Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhu has quoted many passages from authentic scriptures and has ably supported the statements in the matter of offenses at the feet of the holy name. From Vishnu Jamala, Srila Jiva Goswami has proven that one can be liberated from the effects of all sins simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord. Quoting from the Markandeya Puran, Sri Goswami Ji says that one should neither blaspheme the devotee of the Lord nor indulge in hearing others who are engaged in belittling a devotee of the Lord. A devotee should try to restrict the vilifier by cutting out his tongue, and if unable to do so, one should commit suicide rather than hear the blaspheming of the devotee of the Lord. The conclusion is that one should neither hear nor allow vilification of a devotee of the Lord. As far as distinguishing the holy name, Lord's holy name, from the names of the demigods, the revealed scriptures disclose, Bhagavad Gita 10:41, that all extraordinarily powerful beings are but parts and parcels of the supreme energetic Lord Krishna, except for the Lord himself. Everyone is subordinate, no one is independent of the Lord. Since no one is more powerful than or equal to the energy of the Lord, of the Supreme Lord, no one's name can be as powerful as that of the Lord. By chanting the Lord's holy name, one can derive all the stipulated energy synchronized from all sources. Therefore, one should not equalize the supreme holy name of the Lord with any other name. Brahma, Shiva, or any other powerful god can never be equal to the supreme Lord Vishnu. The powerful holy name of the Lord can certainly deliver one from sinful effects, but one who desires to utilize This transcendental potency of the holy name of the Lord in one's sinister activities is the most degraded person in the world. Such persons are never excused by the Lord or by any agent of the Lord. One should therefore utilize one's life in glorifying the Lord by all means without any offense. Such activity of life, even for a moment, is never to be compared to a prolonged life of ignorance, like the lives of the tree and other living entities who may live for thousands of years without prosecuting spiritual advancement.
Joy. So pretty nice verse, right? Very important, very crucial. And this is just the second verse. The last verse, Sukdev Goswami starts saying that how taking shelter of the holy name, is like the way to start the spiritual journey. And this is the first thing he says to Parikhit Maharaj, who has only 7 days, and he's about to recite the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. And this is the second verse. So why he is saying that? Because obviously Parikshit Maharaj only 7 days to live. So he's saying, okay, but even in these 7 days, he's encouraging that yes, you just focus on that one moment. Don't worry about the end result or anything. Try to perfect your life. But of course, he is telling this to us through Parikshit Maharaj. But here, one time actually Prabhupada was asked, a disciple was asking that, Prabhupada, what should I do? Can you give me some instructions? And Prabhupada said, yes, chant your rounds nicely. Then the disciple asked, is there anything else? Like maybe the devotee was asking for something specific that he wanted to do. So then he said, okay, then you read my books. Is there anything else? Distribute my books. Then, is there anything else? You don't have faith. You don't have faith in me. I'm telling you, that these are the things that you can do to perfect your life. But what is there? What else is there? I've given you everything. So then he says, I've given you everything. And that is true, right? Srila Prabhupada has given us everything that is, if that's what, if we keep following his instructions, that's enough for us to go back to God. That Prabhupada himself says that, okay, if you just chant your rounds nicely and follow the regulative principles, then I assure you to take you back to Godhead. Prabhupada has given us the morning programs, which is, that is I'm telling to myself first, that I need to take it seriously. And, he has given us nice temples where devotees can congregate, associate, connect. New people can get introduced. We are building such a nice temple here in Columbus. Then we have nice, beautiful deities of the, Radha Krishna all over the world. Like different people have different, attractions, and they get attracted to all these deities. And, many times they get so attracted that now, wherever they go, they still are so attracted to Radhanath, but that they are maybe worshipping also, in their altar. So that's how beautiful our Radha Vrindavan Nadvar, they are. Prabhupada has given us the holy names. Of course, this is given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but he is the representative. So he has given us this, chanting of the holy name. He emphasized so much on chanting. Just like here also it is said, the entire purport is basically talking about how our consciousness can be purified just by chanting of the holy names of the Lord without any offenses. But yeah, so it's a very joyful process. A lot of the times people are kind of thinking that, I'm so tired, or like, this is so exhausting, very frustrating, and sometimes people are discouraged. One time Prabhupada was asked in Gainesville that, how is your movement doing? And Prabhupada said, very nice. And then that reporter asked that, what do you mean very nice? There are hardly 24 people sitting in the room. What do you mean? There are millions of people in America. So Prabhupada said, no, Prabhupada was asked, are you encouraged or discouraged? Very encouraged. This is so nice. And Prabhupada's vision is that even to be Krishna conscious also, you have to be qualified. Yeah, it's not for everybody. Just like diamonds, not everybody will buy diamonds. Only those who can afford it. So this is, Prabhupada was always encouraged, and Prabhupada was always joyful in this movement, in practicing Krishna consciousness. So that is a perfect example for us. There are, there will be conflicts there because everybody is work in progress devotees, right? So there will be conflicts, but at the end of the day, we have to remember the goal is to, this is for me, not for anybody else. So am I doing the right thing? If there are conflicts, am I making sure that my consciousness is still purified or is still connected to Krishna? And yeah, ultimately when that stage happens, we feel like, oh, this is a big pastime happening of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? Can you imagine what is if you tell in future that, okay, Prabhupada came and then he established these temples in different places and in Columbus, there are devotees sitting and discussing Srimad Bhagavatam. Out of nowhere in the world, in America, there is this place called Columbus, and people are reciting Bhagavatam. In like small towns and villages, people are doing the holy name, Hare Krishna. New York, such big skyscraper building and everybody is just rat race. People are doing Harinam on the streets. This is all like mythology. People will think in future. It's impossible. And Prabhupada's disciples. Now, this is something so encouraging for me. And of course, it's also a standard that Prabhupada has set. When Prabhupada, he had his disciples. So within like 12 years, they all became, sannyasis. Like they were so dedicated to Srila Prabhupada. So it's a benchmark for us. Where are we? Okay, maybe I'm like 6-7 years. So I have 5 more years. Now imagine that level of dedication that they had. It's miracle, right? It's no joke. And when we hear about the disciples, how their life is, like His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj. If somebody says, he had stroke and then he was not able to, talk, and then now he's on wheelchair, he needs assistance, but he's doing worldwide preaching. He has the world record of traveling all over the world. You'll say it's impossible. It's not possible. But we are in the pastime right now. We are in the Leela, Chaitanya Leela. And same thing happened with Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva was also once, he was waiting to associate with Krishna. So he went to Vrindavan and he just stayed there. So, he was asked that, okay, why are you staying here? You go back. No, I want you. I know you are coming in Dwapar Yuga as Krishna. So I want to just take your association. So why? Because I want to see all the pastimes of yours when you appear in Vrindavan. So he said, Krishna said, okay, then, stay here. No, I don't want to be seen. I'll become a stone. No. Okay, then become a stone. No, I don't deserve to be a stone also. Just make me the dust in Vrindavan. Why? So he can see the pastimes of Krishna. We are in the pastime already. So that happens only when our consciousness is purified, that to see the pastimes, to hear the pastimes of the Lord. And pastimes only doesn't mean that, the Krishna Leela. Even this philosophy is pastime. Even this philosophy of Krishna consciousness, you are not this body, you are the soul. That's a pastime. There is equal taste, in that. Sometimes devotees say that, no, I only want to hear the pastimes. Philosophy goes over my head. Prem Sindhu Prabhu has heard that many times, maybe. He's nodding his head. So, yeah, this was something that Swarup Krishna Prabhu, Sri Radha's father, my father-in-law, he mentioned that, yes, there is no difference between philosophy and Krishna Leela. It's the same. So, everything is given by Srila Prabhupada, and the most wonderful thing that has been given by Srila Prabhupada is Srimad Bhagavatam. Of course, everything that Srila Prabhupada has given is perfect, but here Srimad Bhagavatam is something that is tangible to us, that we can read every day, and every canto, every chapter, every verse is personal instruction, is something that we can learn from and improve our consciousness, purify our consciousness. And ultimately, you will see that when somebody's consciousness is purified, they see Krishna's spark, Krishna's splendor in everything and everyone. Right? So, yeah, one time, I think Srila Prabhupada was flying, he was at the airport, and he was traveling with a disciple, and then Prabhupada, they saw air hostess, very beautiful air hostess. Prabhupada looked at the brahmachari and said, isn't she beautiful? And then the disciple got nervous. Now this is such a tough question, because if I say yes, maybe he's testing my consciousness. But what if I say no? That means I'm disagreeing with my spiritual master. So it's a test. So he did a very smart thing. He kept his mouth shut. He just stayed quiet. He didn't answer anything. And then Srila Prabhupada turned back to him and he said, now just imagine how beautiful Krishna is, if she is so beautiful. Because Krishna has created. So that is the vision of pure devotees, those whose consciousness is fully purified. Yeah, so in Bhagavad Gita it is said, Yad Yad Vibhuti Mat Sattvam Srimad Urjitam Eva Tat Tat Eva Gachatvam Mama Tejom Sa Sambhavam. So know that all opulent, beautiful and glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. Right? And yeah, so it is pretty straightforward process. Prabhupada has given us everything, and the most important thing is chant and be happy. Right? This is the whole motto of our movement: chant and be happy. But the deeper you go in Krishna consciousness, this and in between becomes bigger. Right? Chant and serve and be happy. This is I heard from Hari Parshad Prabhu. He gave this class in Columbus at Ram Kirtan Prabhu's home. So he was saying that how this and becomes bigger and bigger the deeper you go in Krishna consciousness. When you are in the beginning, yes, chant and be happy. This is to attract people. Then once you are more deep into it, then chant and now serve and be happy. Chant and serve and don't offend the devotees and be happy. Chant and serve and don't offend, and it can go on and on, right? So that's now we have to also question ourselves that okay, which stage I am at? Am I making progress? Is my end getting bigger and bigger? So that's how we can say. But again, coming back to Srimad Bhagavatam, this every chapter, every canto, every verse, we can find examples and we can find ways to purify our consciousness. And it's such a systematic, and that is why this is also the reason we are studying Srimad Bhagavatam so systematically, because Srimad Bhagavatam itself is a very systematic scripture, Amal Puran, spotless, and everything it teaches, for everybody. There is not like, okay, only one section of people. For everyone, there is something to learn, and perfectly structured, and lots of different commentators have commented that how Srimad Bhagavatam can be understood, how Srimad Bhagavatam teaches. Some commentators say that, okay, every canto teaches something specific. Some commentators say, no, each canto teaches all the aspects of life. But there is a very nice verse that one of our acharyas, they have explained, that Atra Sargo Visargascha Sthanam Poshanam Uttaya Manvantare Sanukatha Nirodho Muktir Ashraya. Bhagavatam, second canto, 10th chapter, first verse. Yeah, so it's a very nice understanding of Srimad Bhagavatam that our acharyas explain. Says that Sargo, the element of creation, is there in the third canto, right, where the conversations of Maitreya Muni takes place, the conversation of Kapila Dev is taking place. Then Visarga, secondary creation, right? Brahma, Manu, the entire lineage is taking place. Then Sthanam, planetary expansions, right? So that's the fifth canto, where all the different planetary positions and the entire material universe, how it's structured, is explained. Then canto 6, Poshanam, nourishment, how Krishna is bestowing his grace upon all the devotees, and he doesn't see anybody's qualification, Ajamil. So he's bestowing his mercy, giving chances one after another. Then 7th canto is Uti. Her turn will come, probably.
Oh.
This will lead into her topic, so please bear with me for a few more minutes. Uti, 7th canto, is talking about, Uti means creative impetus, right? So creative impetus. What is the creative impetus in this material world? Lust. Prem Sindhu Prabhu, so he is my lifeline. Yeah. Lust, right? Everything in this material universe, the creative impetus starts with lust. And there is a very nice example of Prabhupada, right? That Prabhupada was in New York, or in New York, right? He was seeing big skyscrapers. Do you want to say, Prabhu? Because I think I heard from you only. So
Yeah, he said something like, what is the meaning of all this big skies? He said it is out of lust to enjoy. That's why they're big about this.
Correct.
Then he was saying something that
This city.
one company was going to hire somebody, but they wanted to see if this person was married or not. Because if he's married, then he will have some impetus to earn money.
Right.
And if he's not married, he may leave any time. So, of course, for Grihastha ashram is different, but
Right.
I'm just saying that he was saying that. Otherwise, there is no impetus. If you're alone, there is no. If you have family and children, now your support, then you will not leave the job immediately. Because you will think about what will happen to my
Family.
children.
Yeah. So lust drives everything, in this material world. In our actions, also material actions. Prabhupada was saying when he was in New York and he saw the big skyscrapers that, this city must have a lot of beautiful women. Because that is why all this, big things are created to attract men getting attracted to women, women getting attracted to men. That is a sign. So, but anyhow, 8th canto, Manvantaras, right? So different manus are explained. 9th canto, Ishanu Katha, activities of the Supreme Lord. He is, this dearmost Lord, and a lot of pastimes of Parshuram, Lord Ram are given in 9th canto. 10th canto, Ashraya, which is taking shelter of the most wonderful Krishna through his pastimes. Then 11th canto, Mukti, where Krishna is preparing Uddhavji, how to live this world. He's giving him instruction with his, like sannyas and how to perfect his life and leave this world. Then canto 12 is Nirodha, annihilation, the complete end. How it will be. Canto 12 also gives the prelude to what's coming, in future. Right? Very amazing, wonderful. But then the question is that what about first and second canto, right? So Acharya has explained that the first canto is Adhikar. It explains Adhikar, which is the qualification, that who are qualified to take instructions, who are qualified to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, and the examples are there. The conversation between Sutta Goswami and the sages, then Narada and Vyasadev. So where they are emphasizing that, how important it is to absorb the mind by hearing about Krishna. And the second canto, which we are reading, is about sadhana, the practice, the means of connection. And it is very important, when we are talking about sadhana and connecting with Krishna, because how many of you can directly connect to Krishna? Oh, what? I thought we all directly connect to Krishna every day, no? Okay. So good. Maybe we can take some help from others, right? So that's how we can take shelter of Krishna. I mean, there are some who can directly go to Krishna, but it is easier. It is easier when you are taking shelter of a spiritual master, or not a spiritual, but spiritual masters, because it's not just our famous, the Diksha Guru or anything. It's gurus. There are so many gurus available. Shiksha gurus, and then there are the Pradarshak Guru. There is Chaitya Guru in our heart. So we can take shelter of so many of them. So ultimately, we connect to Krishna through that chain of disciplic succession. And all of this is because so that we can revive our consciousness, or purify our consciousness, and then understand the position of Krishna, understand our position. Because we keep saying we are not this body, we are the soul, but how close are we to realize that? every day is passing, but how close are we getting? You know, some of you all are, but it's very, very hard for me. So it's very, but it is also assured by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sadaya Kabunai, right? Love for Krishna is already within us. It's awakened only by pure devotional service. Then we have so many examples given, right? Because people don't really know that how to perform pure devotional service, how important, how crucial it is to find that moment of purity, find that moment where we can actually taste Krishna's name. So Srimad Bhagavatam gives lots of examples, and one of such examples is Khatvanga, right? So that is the next verse. So let's read the next verse. Any questions or thoughts so far? Vardhan, Charuta, or Ram Kirtan Prabhu? Prem Sindhu Prabhu? Subal Sakha Prabhu? So, are we on the same page? We are excited to hear about the pastime of Khatvanga Maharaj. Yes, okay. So.
Okay, let's read the text 13. Khatvango nama Rajarshir
Khatvango nama Rajarshir
Yatve yatam ihayusha
Yadve yatam ihayusaha
Muhurtat sarvamutrijya
Muhurat sarvavrisrijya
Gatavan abhayam harim.
Gatam abhayam harim.
Word by word, let's read together. Khatvanga, King Khatvanga, Nama, name, Rajarshi, saintly king, Gyatva, by knowing, Yata, duration, Iha, in this world, Ayusha, of one's life, Murtat, within only a moment, Sarvam, everything, Utshishya, leaving aside, Gatavan, had undergone, Abhayam, fully safe, Harim, the personality of Godhead. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
The saintly king Khatvanga, after being informed that the duration of his life would be only a moment more, at once freed himself from all material activities and took shelter of the supreme safety, the personality of Godhead. Now let's read the purport. A fully responsible man should always be conscious of the prime duty of the present human form of life. The activities to meet the immediate necessities of material life are not everything. One should always be alert in his duty for attainment of the best situation in the next life. Human life is meant for preparing ourselves for that prime duty. Maharaj Khatvanga is mentioned herein as a saintly king because even within the responsibility of the state management, he was not at all forgetful of the prime duty of life. Such was the case with other Rajarshis, saintly kings like Maharaj Yudhishthir and Maharaj Parikhit. They were all exemplary personalities on account of their being alert in discharging their prime duty. Maharaj Khatvanga was invited by the demigods and the higher planets to fight demons. And as a king, he fought the battles to the full satisfaction of the demigods. The demigods, being fully satisfied with him, wanted to give him some material benediction for enjoyment. But Maharaj Khatvanga, being very much alert to his prime duty, inquired from the demigods about his remaining duration of life. This means that he was not as anxious to accumulate some material benediction from the demigods as he was to prepare himself for the next life. He was informed by the demigods, however, that his life would last only a moment longer. The king at once left the heavenly kingdom, which is always full of material enjoyment of the highest standard, and coming down to this earth, took ultimate shelter of the all-safe personality of Godhead. He was successful in his great attempt and achieved liberation. This attempt, even for a moment, by the saintly king, was successful because he was always alert to his prime duty. Maharaj Parikhit was thus encouraged by the great Sukadeva Goswami, even though he had only 7 days left in his prime life, to execute the prime duty of hearing the glories of the Lord in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. By the will of the Lord, Maharaj Parikshit instantly met the great Sukadeva Goswami, and the great treasure of spiritual success left by him is nicely mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. The next verse is a continuation, so I'm going to read the next verse also. Tavapi eta hi kauravya saptaham jivitavadhi upakalpaya tatsarvam tavad yat samparayikam. Translation: Maharaj Parikshit, now your duration of life is limited to 7 more days. So during this time, you can perform all those rituals which are needed for the best purpose of your next life. Purport: Sukadeva Goswami, after citing the example of Maharaj Khatvanga, who prepared himself for the next life within a very short time, encouraged Maharaj Parikshit by saying that since he still had 7 days at his disposal, he could easily take advantage of the time to prepare himself for the next life. Indirectly, the Goswami told Maharaj Parikshit that he should take shelter of the sound representation of the Lord for the 7 days still remaining in the duration of his life, and thus get himself liberated. In other words, everyone can best prepare himself for the next life simply by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, as it was recited by Sukadeva Goswami to Maharaj Parikshit. The rituals are not formal, but there are also some favorable conditions which are required to be carried out as instructed hereafter. Om Ajnanam Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakya Takshin Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Okay. Yes. So we are going to hear about a very interesting story about Maharaj Khatvanga. It's extremely nice that Sukadeva Goswami uses this example while right in the beginning, before giving all his instructions to Maharaj Parikshit. So it's such an apt example given at the right time. And if you see in 12th text, Srila Prabhupada starts the purport with knowing about the prime duty of our human life. So what is our prime duty of human life? This Maharaj Khatvanga's example will explain it to us. Because what is ultimately prime duty is to remember the Lord at the end of our lives. That is our prime duty as a human, because we have that ability to think, to utilize our intelligence. So now the story is very interesting and very touching. So Maharaj Khatvanga, Lord Ramchandra comes under Maharaj Khatvanga's dynasty. So he's a very powerful king. He was an exemplary devotee. Whatever he did it with full consciousness of the Lord while performing his activities. He was such a great warrior that whatever fight he engaged himself in, he was always victorious. There was not one fight as a Kshatriya king that he performed that he had ever lost. He never lost any battles. And we all know that when it comes to the Daityas and the Devtas, that is demons and demigods, they're always having fights with each other. There's always a cold war between them. There's also hot wars between them. So Indra was actually facing really a lot of anxiety due to the demons attacking them, and they had heard about Maharaj Khatvanga's amazing, powerful way of fighting as a warrior. So they approached him immediately to seek help from him, and Maharaj Khatvanga did not hesitate or say that or make any excuses. He wanted to perform all his duties to the T. Like if he was doing his royal duties, and he also wanted to please all the devotees of the Lord at the same time. For him, that was more important. So at once he went with the demigods to the heavenly planet and then fought several wars with the demons, and one by one defeated everyone. And the demigods were so pleased with his performance that they wanted to grant him a boon, but a material boon. all of us in this world, what do? We do Durga Puja, Ganesh Puja, Shiv Puja, we do so many other pujas. I know there's a demigod that we pray to so that our visa is stamped. So many things are there in India. Specifically, we ask each demigod, can you give me this? Can you give me that? That's a trend in India. And so the demigods also thought that we should give Khatvanga a boon so that he can also be happy. But Maharaj Khatvanga, instead of asking for a material boon, he asked a question which we would never want to ask anyone. I'm going to ask you all that question after this. So he asked the demigods, how long does he have in this material world? So the demigods were surprised. They were thinking that he would want some wealth or money or beautiful woman or something like that, or a lot of prosperity in his kingdom, or longer age. That's what they thought. But instead, Maharaj Khatvanga was asking, how long does he have left in this material world? So the demigods instantly replied that he had only a moment. Now, a muhurta is calculated according to the demigods, or according to the heavenly planet's calculation, 48 minutes. Only 48 minutes he had left. As soon as he heard that he had only 48 minutes left, he immediately thought about his prime duty. He became alert. Oh my goodness, now I have only this much time left. I cannot waste even a second. So what he did, he summoned a vahan, or an airplane that can fly in the speed of light. So he immediately sat on it, and he came rushing to earth. And the next thing that he did was, he gave all his wealth, everything, to the Brahmanas who practice Krishna consciousness. So he gave all his wealth to them, and all his wealth also to the citizens who needed. He took leave from his family and went directly to the forest. And he started meditating and focusing on the Lord. He kept chanting and thinking of the Lord till the time of his death. So the time from his coming from heavenly planet to earth and then distributing his wealth among the prajas took 24 minutes. And the rest 24 minutes that he had, he completely engaged his senses in remembering the Lord. So imagine, he had only 48 minutes, and 1 minute also he did not waste in any nonsense. If it was us, think about it. We had only 48 minutes. I would take at least half of the time I would think, oh my God, I'm going to die. Think about, and panic. Forget thinking of the Lord. I would be panicking. I'm like, I have only 48 minutes left. I would be crying, or I don't know what I would be doing. And then in the end, maybe I would think of the Lord, say Hare Krishna, maybe, and then again the panic would come, the stress would come. I would be clinging on to my attachments, like, husband, I'm going to die. What will you do without me? What will I do without you? So now the question comes, like, if I wanted to ask you all is, if there is an astrologer that is very good in finding out the time of your death, and he looked into your charts and then said that I can find out exactly the time when you die, would you say yes or no? Would you want to find out or no?
If the astrologer can tell us what we want to know also.
Yeah, you know that astrologer is very accurate.
Would you want to know or no?
Do you want
a question to that question? Do I know that if I perform bhakti, Krishna can change the time when I die?
Maybe that is also Krishna's will.
That is Krishna's will.
You know, that dying.
But the chart will tell you exactly when you will die according to Krishna's desire.
But do I know about bhakti? Do I know about bhakti when he's giving me this? Do I know that if I perform bhakti, Krishna can change when I die?
Yeah, he can change.
He can
He
change.
can tell me when
He can change. The Lord can change the time. But if we have a destiny and that has been scheduled for us, but if the Lord desires to change that destiny, why not? But astrologer will be able to tell you that. So will you willing to know it, you will be willing to know it. Great. And if you come to know, what would be your next thought? That okay, I have what if you are told that you have more 10 years? In that 10 years, now it's a time ticking. Yeah, you have only 10 years. Will you be able to think about the Lord, or will you be thinking, oh my goodness, I have only 10 years, now what should I do? So that thought also comes in our heads. Now, okay, I still have time, but then I have only 10 years. Oh my goodness, now what should I do in this 10 years?
Reality check.
We will think, oh yeah, I will want to know when I'll die. But when we actually come to know the knowledge, how do we react to it? Do we have that consciousness? Do we have that purification or the ability to react to it in a way that a pure devotee does? That, okay, now I have this much time. My main aim is to fulfill my prime duty, which is to be alert of the Lord at the end of our life. So,
Sometimes
me?
Have you found out?
No. Oh my goodness.
I know.
No, but sometimes the astrologers also need the astrologer. It's like, when the doctor is sick, they go to other doctors.
Yeah, not a high level astrologer, I'm
sometimes,
here.
if they tell you 30 years left.
How about time?
Even 10 years also, what she said, like 10 years
10
also
years,
feels.
yeah, still I think 20 years, 20 years, yeah. But if they say 1 year, I want to know because I'm not serious, so I want to become serious.
You're
So
pure
that
devotee.
is why, it helps. But we should not think like that, if somebody says, oh, you're 30 years. Oh, it's too much time, 30 years, it's a long time. Oh, you can take it. Normally people say, right, if you go to astrology, you say, you live 80 or 75. And then you say 75, 80, that's okay. I mean, that's acceptable. I'm 40, 45, 50, whatever. If they say you're living 55, 60, then you're more serious.
Exactly.
At least
But-
that is my condition.
Not everyone. I mean, if they know they have only till 50, 55, they will try to they will try to fulfill all the material desires that they want.
Bucket
That also
list.
happens. The bucket list varies from person to person. But here our Khatvanga Maharaj is giving us a very great example of what one should do if they have a muhurta's time. He was engaged, he was just like any ordinary human being, meaning he was extraordinary, but ordinary meaning he was also engaged in family life. He had wife, children, he had his own palace where he stayed, and he had servants, and he was doing his royal order, like he was doing his occupation, which is to rule the kingdom. We all have our occupations. So he was very much associated with materialistic activities. He was not a sannyasi, totally renounced. But one thing was that he was not attached to these materialistic entities. So even though he was associated with it, he was not attached to it. So he had a pure consciousness of Isha Vashyam Idam Sarvam, meaning he always thought that everything that he is doing is related to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So even though he was not attached, he was thinking whatever he is surrounded with is all the Supreme Lord's desires. Of course, to develop this consciousness is not like a piece of cake. You need to be in the path of devotional service, keep practicing, then gradually this consciousness comes. You can't just detach yourself from everyone by thinking, okay, that's the correct thing. That is Falgu renunciation. That's not the proper renunciation. So it said, Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yuktam Vairagyam Uchyate. Only if one engages all material things in relation with the loving service of the Lord, one is situated in Yukta Vairagya, which is proper renunciation. And this does not come artificially, it has to come naturally. How? By being alert of our prime duty, which is to think of the Lord at the time of death. How? By engaging our senses in devotional service. Even though we are attached to material things, to be detached by thinking that everything that we are engaged in is in the service of the Lord. So that's the main point. So Maharaj Khatvanga is teaching us two things. How to remember our prime duty, Number 2, how to properly utilize the time that we have. That is such an important thing. Time, in fact, it is said money is very valuable. Why? Because you can get anything with money, generally speaking. But time is more precious, because if you don't have time, what will money do? Like, money will be left behind and you will be gone, because time is gone, your time is up. So time is more precious. Such an important
There is one question that somebody asked that, okay, if I give you $10 million, would you take it? Yes, would you take? Probably. You will not. There is a chance that you will say no. If I say
If it is legal, then fine.
no, it is legal. Everything, you don't have to pay taxes on it. Yeah. Let's say it's legal.
Legal,
It's
tax-free,
yours.
then fine.
It's tax free. Yeah.
I would also take it.
Everybody will take. But what if I say that, okay, if you take this, there is a catch. You will die tomorrow. You have only one day to enjoy it.
Oh my gosh. No, I wouldn't
Now
take
will
it.
you take? No. So that means you only one day to enjoy $10 million. As soon as you finish $10 million in one day, you will die. But yeah,
would be
so
so nice.
see now the consciousness, okay, now is time is more valuable than money, right?
Yeah. So I want.
One verse. Should I read from?
Huh.
Ayushya Shana Ekopi, Nadapya Swarna Koti, Nache Nirartha Niti, Vacha Hanis Tato. Even one moment of life spent cannot be regained for millions of gold coins. Therefore, what greater loss is there than time spent uselessly?
Correct.
This is, I think, Chanakya.
Oh, okay. So I wanted to next share a sad story that was shared by His Holiness Chandramauli Maharaj in a class. So he was engaged in preaching services in Mumbai. He used to go out with other devotees to a college where he used to do programs just like we do out here. So a lot of students used to attend the program. This was a weekly program. A lot of students used to attend, and some students became very serious. They become a nice group. Like we also have a nice group. They are there. They became very strong practicing group. So one day, what happened was one of the serious students. What happened was he was about to graduate. So he's a PhD student. So that means he had thesis to submit. So he told his friends, that same group friends, that now he will not be able to attend the program. Why? Because he wants to now focus on his thesis or exams, that final last semester exams, and for his graduation. So then his friend said, okay, that makes sense, but come back once your exams and everything are over. So that whole semester he did not come to the program. He was totally focused on his exam, on his studies. He did very well. He was the topper. He got lots of awards, accolades. He was actually given an award by the president also of the university. And all his friends were very happy for him and said, now we need to party, come to the program. We want to celebrate this. And the boy said, I actually have another party where they are celebrating for me. I have to go there. So the friends were like, what? We are your friends. We want to celebrate with you. Come to our party. But he had already made a decision that he will go to that party, and he went there. And that party was a disco party, actually. So he went, and he said that I will come to the program next week. So he said, I will go to this party now. I will come to your party next week. So he went to this dance party. Okay, and he was dancing like crazy. He was having a lot of fun because it was his graduation party. And suddenly, he had a heart attack, and instantly he died. There was nothing that he could do. There was like not even like it was 5 minutes and he died. 1 minute he was dead, heart attack and dead. He was just 23 years old. He could have come to the Krishna conscious party, and if he would have, at least he would have heard the holy name and passed away. But he didn't even get that opportunity. So from that day onwards, his friend circle became so serious, that they were only focused on Krishna consciousness, because they had a life, they saw a life example of how time is precious. Like instantly someone can be taken away, even if you're 21, even if you're 16 years old, doesn't matter. Anytime death can come. So it's so important. Now, how do we utilize our time in order to fulfill our primary duty? There are two things that we should always remember and two things we should forget. The two things that we should remember is, we need to always remember to chant, chant, chant. Not can't, chant, chant, chant. And the second thing is, that can happen anytime, just like we heard the story. And the two things that we should forget: bad things that others have done to us, and the good things we have done to others. We should forget these two things. If we remember the good things that we have done to others, pride develops. And if we remember the bad things that others have done to us, we feel that pain, the revenge, and we don't feel at peace. Our mind is always traumatic thinking about those incidents. And some people keep that grudge for 25 years or more. So it's very painful. We should try to forget these things and forgive people. And this way we will not offend any devotee or vilify anyone. Forget devotee, anyone. So these two things can be an obstacle to our devotional service. And another very dangerous obstacle is our attachments. Any kind of attachment. Srila Prabhupada said in our class that even if we are attached to eating rasgulla prasadam is good, right? But if we are attached to it, like we cannot live without it, then at the time of death, rasgulla will come in our head and we'll have to come back to eat rasgulla. Imagine. Like,
it's prasad, right?
Yeah, but we have to come back to this world to eat that prasadam. Or who knows if it's going to be prasadam.
Can we take that simple and spiritual world?
If we would have thought of Krishna feeding us rasgulla, then yes. Imagine. But we have to have that consciousness.
It's called karma free food. What does that mean?
It's karma free. That means we do not get any reaction of like any bad, sinful reaction. No sinful reaction. But unfortunately, at the time of that, if you're thinking of rasgulla, eating rasgulla or that attachment, then again we have to come back. But we will still have a devotee environment.
Yeah. And it's the same thing.
Rasgulla is Krishna, right? Prasadam is not different from Krishna.
Huh?
Prasadam is not different from Krishna.
Correct.
Similarly, holy name is also not different from Krishna. So if you are attached to holy name, then would we come back to chant the holy name?
A holy name, that's what's given by Nad Muni in the Shastra, that if we chant the holy name, the result is different. Result is different for everything that we think about. So at the time of death, even Sukdev Goswami says, if we are chanting and remembering the holy name, then we will be taken back to Godhead.
When you, it's like,
it's a consciousness in which you take prasadam, right? If you think, oh, this is Krishna.
But even chanting, you said if you are chanting the holy names and if you are attached to the holy name, you will come back to chant. Yes, if the chanting is not done properly.
If we chant thinking...
the same with prasadam, you're not eating in the right consciousness.
That's
any service, right? Any service. If somebody is doing the dressing of the deities also, but they are not actually doing in the mood of pleasing Krishna, but they're doing, okay, let me do a nice show off so everybody can glorify me. Or if somebody is cooking, let me make the fanciest food ever so everybody glorifies. If it's for my ego, feeding my ego, then...
This is the next tune which nobody has heard.
All ragas and...
Yeah. But it's interesting. This thought that like holy name, if we are very attached to it, but we are thinking of the holy name as a means of getting something. Will we go back to Godhead or not?
Yeah, it is also that it can be very dangerous if somebody is also just attached to the deities, or like we are talking about food and devotional service. But if somebody is like so attached to Krishna that they just offend the devotees also, right? Like if somebody is doing some service and they are so attached to that service, they don't care what others are up to or what others' feedback is. Everything is over the head. So it's both, There is both attachment to Krishna and attachment to devotees.
Hmm.
Maybe more attachment to devotees because attachment to Krishna can lead to all kinds of concoctions and mental speculations.
So it is said that these attachments that we have, Maya knows very well. And Maya Devi has been given a great service to remind us about these things. Actually, she knows all our weakness. So she wants to grab all the opportunity to deviate us because we are trying to become Krishna conscious. So she wants to check whether we are serious about our Krishna consciousness or being associated with the Lord or being eligible to go back to Godhead. So she keeps testing us. But in the end, she's our friend. She's our well-wisher. Because if we are not reminded about these things, we would not even care about it. We would keep we would keep falling in the trap of our weakness. So she helps us becoming more determined to take shelter of the Lord's lotus feet or the Lord's holy name. So that's one point that I really loved. And Maya Devi, even though she's seeming to be like our enemy, but she's actually our well-wisher. So hence, Sukdev Goswami was encouraging Maharaj Parikshit in the next verse that we see in 14 to engage all the time that he had left in hearing the glories of the Lord, so he could prepare for his next life, which is so important. If we do not have that alertness that, okay, we have this one human life that I have got, which is very precious, whatever time I have left, I want to prepare for the next life. Next life meaning, I want to now get out of this material world, attain a spiritual form, and then go back to Godhead. Attain the constitutional spiritual form that I always had before, and go back to Godhead. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sadhya Kobhunoy Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Koroyo Udoy. This is in Chaitanya Charitamrita. It simply means pure love for Krishna is eternally established in the hearts of all living entities. It is not something to be gained from another source. When the heart is purified by hearing and chanting, this love naturally awakens. So our prime duty is to naturally awaken this love that we have, which is dormant right now and conditioned right now. How? Just like Sukdev Goswami instructs Maharaj Parikshit by hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord. That's the only way that we can purify our heart and remember our prime duty at the end of our lives. Hare Krishna.
Jai.
So there are some comments.
Any questions?
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
There are
comments.
some verses are there. So I'll just read those verses.
Yeah, Prabhu.
He's near the phone only though.
I can see it.
So this is from Vishnu Puran. Or where, yeah. Sahanistan mahachidram samoha cha saviprama yan muhurutam kshanam vapi vasudev na chintayet. If even for a moment remembrance of Vasudev, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is missed, that is the greatest loss, that is the greatest illusion, and that is the greatest enemy. So for one moment, then Chanakya Pandit says that if you want to make spiritual advancement, then you should always think that death is next moment. But if you want to be materially happy, you should always think that I shall never die. Srila Prabhupada. So this chanting of Hare Krishna is important, that you can always think that death is coming, death is at my door. Let me finish my chanting. Let me finish my chanting. Always you should think like that. That death is already coming, so let me chant. Srila Prabhupada says. You can die at any time. When you chant your 16 rounds, you should think this is my last chance to cry for mercy of Radha and Krishna. And when you come to the last round, you should think this is my last chance to try to please Radha and Krishna. And when you come to the last mantra of the last round, chant in a way that they are convinced. And when you come to the last Hare, if Krishna didn't hear me with all these mantras, then let me call Radharani like my last breath. And then we should chant another 16 rounds in the same room.
Jai. So hard.
And then last thing, this is from Gaurav. Every day with 86,400 in our bank account. It's how many? 86,400 seconds in one day. But imagine there's a condition. We can only utilize that money until the end of the day, after which that amount is gone forever. Sadly, we can't carry it forward to the next day too. And then the next day we get another $86,400. Wouldn't we do everything within our power to utilize that amount judiciously? Every day we are given 86,400 seconds, and we can't carry that time over to the next day. Isn't it important that we utilize the time we have been given in a way that adds value to our life? Let's value time, and time will value us. You are saying about time.
But yeah, that one I'm thinking that if somebody every day I know that I'm gonna get it
Take it for
46,000.
granted then.
Then
Yeah.
It's easy to take it for granted because I know, yeah, even if I lose it, it's fine. Tomorrow I'll get it again. But yeah,
But when you think that you will not get it again, then that's the last time you have. So then that Ayendra Prabhu was saying, this is my last chance to chant 16 rounds. So how will you chant if you say, today is my last day, I will chant 16 rounds today? No.
any questions?
Turn
No, but there is an implied meaning or one interpretation I read about this a previous verse in class, that Khatvanga Maharaj left heavenly kingdom. So one interpretation is like he left association of demigods and took only shelter of. So this verse is also teaching us about not to worship.
Jai. I didn't know that.
And then the comment is, we are conscious in saving money, but we are not conscious in saving time. Money we will do so much, right, to buy the best deal to India, the ticket, we'll search this airline and that airline, but we want to save. But another example, I think one devotee gave.
That example, you can even like if it's like $500 for 40 hours flight, you will take that instead of $2,000 for 20 hours.
So there is a trade-off.
But sometimes we don't have money, so then we have to do that.
Yeah, but let's say
But if you are chanting on the plane, then it's okay. 40-hour flight.
Everything is assuming we have time.
right.
Who knows how much time we have?
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes in plane, because you have nothing else to do, right? Just with your mala, you will then chant. But of course, it's uncomfortable in the plane. Like in the jail, when Haridas Thakur went, he said, it's good you are in the jail. Haridas Thakur was put in the jail, so he told all the other jail keepers, you are good because you don't have many things to do in the jail, so you can chant the holy name nicely. Right? When you are outside, then I have to do that, I have to do this, I have to do that, then you don't have time. So something like that he said also.
Jai.
Yeah, ultimately it's all about how we are utilizing our time and always thinking that is it taking me closer to Krishna? Any activity, any word that we speak, any thought that comes to our mind, is it about Krishna? It may not be directly Krishna and Krishna's pastimes, but if it's related to Krishna consciousness, that's a success. Right? Then we heard, Ajamal also. So if Krishna, if our sincerity is there at any point of time, also there will be Krishna's grace available.
One devotee was given another example. If you go to a birthday party, right? It's a non-Krishna conscious birthday party. No, they are just going to do. And they say it's 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. So you go. But if they say at the gate, you have to pay $500 to go inside the birthday party, then you will think twice. Right? You say $500 to go inside, attend the birthday party? Why should I pay $500? But 3 hours? Yeah, I can spend 3 hours because 3 hours is not so valuable to me as $500 is. So I'm making my decision based on, you see, 3 hours, yeah, I can spend 3 hours, no problem, because I have time. But $500 to pay? No, I don't want to go. So he was saying like that. So we can think like that, right?
Smart.
Huh?
Nice example.
Nice. And one last thing. One who is too attached cannot understand. This is 7.6.14 Bhagavatam. One who is too attached cannot understand that he is wasting his valuable life for the maintenance of his family. He also fails to understand that the purpose of human life, a life suitable for humans for realization of absolute truth, is being imperceptibly spoiled. However, is very cleverly attentive to seeing that not a single farthing is lost by mismanagement. Thus, although an attached person in material existence always suffers from threefold miseries, he does not develop a distaste for the way of material existence. This is Prahlad Maharaj.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, even it is said, right, that the Yena Kena
Prakarena. right?
Mana
So
Krishna
somehow or the other,
Remember Krishna.
remember Krishna. Somehow or the other engage in the service of Krishna. So then it doesn't, there is a standard, there is a goal that this is a pure devotional service, but at any point of time, if somebody, even if the consciousness is not there yet, at least engage in Krishna, don't be discouraged. By the high
Like
standard.
Prabhupada says, if you can't give up drinking wine, at least think that the taste of wine is Krishna.
And then that devotee was saying, I'll dip the gulab jamun in the wine and that, right?
Nice.
But yeah, the Prabhupada said, no, don't do that. Okay, so yeah, these are very important verses, and next there is a continuation from text 15 onwards, which is also another very nice, and everybody would love it. That how one should be bold enough to not be afraid of death. And there is more about practices, and next week is Charuta. Yeah.
Oh,
So
Jai.
please.
I'd miss.
I haven't started preparing it. I might
No, I'd miss.
I practiced. I prepared yesterday only.
I'll be out of the country, but I will see on
You went to
YouTube.
India.
YouTube.
Yes, he is going to India.
Hopefully, I'll be able to. I'm planning to start preparing today onwards.
Jai.
No, you don't have to see. It's like you just.
Yeah, at least read the purports I can do and discuss.
Yeah.
Grantha Srimad
Bhagavatam
Bhagavatam
ki
ki
jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai. Or Brahmanandi.
jai.
Baap re baap.
It was sweet to see both of you together.
Prabhu, you're not able to close.
Ah.